share our screen.
Let me share the screen. I'll start the time once you start talking.
Okay. Hello.
Hola.
Hi.
Hey.
So we are Covidit. I am Alejandro Franco, and I moved to the US 5 years ago, with knowing very little English. 2 years later, I learned how to code at Pursuit during a 10-month program over there. I became a teaching assistant, and now I lead my own class of full-stack web development fellows.
My name is Ethan Bai, currently a graduate student at NYU student current. Prior to NYU, I had 4 years of experience in supply chain management, business development, and strategy consulting.
Hi, I'm Dessa. I'm an NYU Steinhardt alum, New York State certified school counselor and program manager at Pursuit, a social impact organization that trains people with the most need and potential to become software developers. I also lead the 6.2 full stack web development class with Alejo, training and coaching fellows around professional skills. Currently, there's no platform dedicated to people experiencing social isolation during the global COVID-19 pandemic, specifically to express our goals, reflections, and gratitude about this shared experience. Our solution is easy. Essentially, we use language to foster connections and build virtual communities through posted notes at Covidit.world. Anyone can visit the site, write a note in a selected category using their native language, pin a location on the mat, post a Covidit note, translate the note that resonates with them. The Covidit web app becomes an ever-growing universal collection of lessons learned, goals, and human gratitude and resiliency in the midst of and after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Covidit is unique as we are the only platform focusing on building communities for global citizens during the pandemic. In the meantime, Covidit creates geolocation-specific communities, and this can be used as a school-specific post-it board. We are building a community to deliver positivity, inclusion, and sharing. There will not be politics or judgment, but only appreciation and understanding of different cultures through language translations and experience sharing.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the implementation. Covidit is a website built with standard web technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It will be deployed to a platform known as Heroku that will let us reach the 4 corners of the world and scale as demand increases. Now, let me show you, let me talk a little bit about the functionality that we have. Users are able to post notes. Users are able to see all the notes that anyone has posted across the globe in any of our 4 categories, which we'll see in a second. Furthermore, users are able to post a note, a text-only note, in any of the categories that we have with a message in their chosen language and a name. Lastly, users will be able to translate each other's note by hitting the translate button. So let me introduce you to the website. We are working to move it to Covidit.world soon. As we can see, as we reach the landing page, we have our 3 categories: wanted to do, learn, and grateful for. And it was recently reflecting how grateful I am that I have access to technology to keep in contact with my family back in Colombia. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the grateful for category. And I'm going to leave a note that basically says how I'm grateful for, technology keeping us together. So it will say something like, la tecnología nos mantiene cerca. I'm going to leave my name. And I'm going to go ahead and post it. As soon as I post it, it appears as globally posted for anyone to see it, and anyone in the near future to translate. Now, future implementations of the website include users being able to literally drop a specific note at a location in the map, accounts for organization and schools where they can create private boards in a way, and lastly, the ability to have a mobile version of our web app.
And we are aware there are social platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram which are competing with our website.
Ethan, we are going to have to cut off. We're on sort of a strict time limit here, but feel free to leave that up there. Judges, did you have questions?
Yeah, it's a good job on pulling the prototype together. You used the word community a lot in the beginning of the presentation. Can you tell us how you're actually planning on building a community with this?
Yes. So essentially, communities are really united first by our language and shared experiences. And so essentially what we're trying to do is allow people using their own native language to post their goals, their ideas, their lessons learned, what they're grateful for in the midst of all this madness that's going on. And also, eventually, they'll be able to, since everyone can see all of the notes at any time, people can actually see what notes actually resonate with them and translate those notes in their secondary or their first language. And so it builds that community of people who are sharing a common experience and using language to do that.
I would like to add a little bit to that. One will be once notes are dropped at specific locations, you could see a map of your neighborhood and see how many notes there are and what people in your community are literally saying. As well as a further implementation, having the ability to translate a note. We also want to have a conversation happen on the translation of that note that could also connect people together.
Thank you.
My question is sort of along the lines of community as well. So it seems like there's a tremendous value add to individuals who want to share their stories. How are you going to get people to come to this? And what's the mechanism under which you're going to get people who want to just come and visit and read these stories? Like, how are you sort of approaching the other side of that market?
Oh, okay. I'll answer that again. Basically, our market is everyone in the world who's going through this global pandemic. We can reach out to organizations like schools, NGOs, like Pursuit, for example, and all different organizations that actually want to create and build a caring culture for their community in the midst of this pandemic.
And just to expand on that point, I would like to say that also, like, initially I wanted to the idea came about having people sharing experiences, and I thought it first for my classroom, for instance. Thought a few reflections that I had, and I wanted also them to put those reflections on. So I think one way to get users will be, I think, mainly through communities, contact networks, as well as later on the ability maybe of sharing your notes in social media websites, so that can bring other people in with the focus of reflections on the pandemic, lesson learned, without the need for ads and obstructive content.
Yes.
Thank you for that and for your detailed answers. Just moving along in the interest of time, we have telecoms next. Thank you, Team Covidit.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Don't mind to stop.
I would like to stop the share. I'm struggling a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. There you go. Thank you. Do we have Alex?